Welcome back to iGen Politics. This is a podcast that makes politics engaging and relevant for all generations. This is Victor Shi.
And I'm Jill Wine-Banks, and today's hashtag Jill's Pin is a turkey, because today we want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. And we are so thankful for you that we're recording just a special episode where we're going to just talk, Victor and me, and we'll talk intergenerational things, including a quiz that Victor just sent me that tells what generation you're from. And it did show a generational difference. Victor is older than I am.
I think it's a great quiz to take before your Thanksgiving meal. This episode will go live on Wednesday, which is the day before Thanksgiving. So if you have time before your dinner on Thanksgiving, take this quiz and send it to your family and friends who will also be at that dinner table. It could make for interesting conversation, but we will talk about that later. But first, let's talk about what
let me just say, we'll post the link to that quiz in the show notes so that everyone can take it and see what generation you belong to.
Yes. No, I mean, it's a great quiz by the Washington Post, and it's free. So if you're not a Washington Post subscriber, you don't have to be one. So it's okay if you aren't. But let's talk about what we're grateful for, and maybe let's start off by talking about food. You're wearing a turkey. Do you cook? I know you cook a lot, and you do a lot of HelloFresh, which has sponsored this show before, as well as hashtag Sisters-in-Law. But what is on the menu for this year?
Well, I get to go to a very dear friend's house, and which is also wonderful because my husband and I love being with both Susan and Billy and their children, and it'll be fabulous, and their dogs as well. They have two fabulous dogs. And I do like turkey a lot, even though I won't be cooking one this year. I may buy one just to do next week or something. I love the side dishes on Thanksgiving. And I make a great cranberry sauce. I make a great cranberry mold, Jello mold, and a terrific lime pear cream cheese mold. I'm going to bring the lime mold as well as the Atwood Cafe. Have you ever been to Atwood Cafe in Chicago?
I have not.
Place. It's at the corner of the corner of Randolph and State Street, kitty corner from what used to be Marshall Fields and is now Macy's.
Yes.
And it used to be a fabulous restaurant, but they have the best key lime tart. And I got a copy of their recipe, and I'm making a key lime tart to bring with me along with the lime. So I'm in a green thing, lime tart, green mold.
Right.
For my family, Jello molds are a really big deal. And I usually make, when I have my family here, a minimum of 2, sometimes 3 Jello molds. And it's just, we can't have Thanksgiving or any meal in my family without a Jello mold. I have 2 Jello cookbooks.
Wow.
Bet you don't know anybody else who has Jello cookbooks. And special molds. The most amazing mold. All you listening, if any of you are my age, you know how hard it is to unmold a Jello mold. Well, Jello makes a mold. It's plastic with a circle at the top that you can change the design from a star to a heart to, I can't remember all the designs. There's like 4 different tops, but they peel off like Tupperware. They peel off, and when you take it off, it breaks the vacuum, and the Jello mold just plops down on the plate that you have under it. It's no wetting it, no melting it. It just does it.
I have never had Jello molds before, but I guess I'm going to wait until I come back to Chicago, and then you can make me one, and I'll try one. That sounds incredible.
Promise. I'll give you a choice of whether you want cranberry or lime, or I also make a Watergate salad. Did you know there's such a thing?
No. What's the Jill Wine-Banks element to it?
Well, I have, it's not, no, I follow the recipe, but it's one of those things. I have a Google alert for the word Watergate, because if something happens that it gets mentioned, I want to know about it. Well, up pops a Watergate salad. I also get a lot of stuff from Watergate in England. So I get some of that. But anyway, the Watergate salad is pistachio pudding mixed with marshmallows and pineapple and nuts. And it's a really interesting salad, but I found that if you freeze it, it's a terrific dessert. So I actually recommend freezing it, and it even tastes better that way. But anyway, I can make you a Watergate salad. And I forgot, I did look up what the derivation of it was, but I don't remember. But while you're talking about what you love about Thanksgiving, I'm looking up Watergate salad right now.
Yes. Well,
Watergate salad.
in a typical year, I would be eating all of those things, maybe minus the Jello mold. But I love turkey myself. My favorite, speaking of cranberry sauce, I love I don't make cranberry sauce, but the ones that come in the can, it's sort of like
Oh,
Jello. No, not Jello. It's sort of like cranberry mold.
right. But it's do you like the one
Jelly.
with the sort of smooth, or do you like it with the cranberries
Well, I
popped?
like the smooth one, the smooth
one,
one.
yeah.
And I actually, as Jill well knows, I'm getting my wisdom teeth removed this week, which means that I can only eat soft foods. And I went to the grocery store yesterday and got a bunch of cans of those. So I will be punching down those cranberry jelly molds, which will
You
be
also
fun.
should get yourself ice cream.
Yes, I did get
Jello. You can
yes.
even buy pre-cooked Jello.
Got Jello and pudding and 3 flavors of ice cream.
Perfect. You're all set.
So that will be my Thanksgiving meal this year.
Here's the story on Watergate salad. Syndicated Household Advice columnists in their Ann and Nan column of 1997 reported that the name came from the similar Watergate cake, which shares most of the same ingredients. The recipes came out during the Watergate scandal.
Wow.
So it is named after the Watergate scandal. And I don't know about the cake and those ingredients, but it's in the form, here's one. The Watergate cake is a piece of satirical wordplay based on the fact that the cake had a cover-up in the form of its thick frosting, and that much of Washington, D.C., the cake was full of nuts. I may have to try making the Watergate cake.
That could be even better, I feel.
I think I'm going to try that instead of Watergate salad. Maybe even instead of I'm not going to try a new recipe to bring to a friend's house, but maybe I'll bring both. I'll see if I can get the ingredients fast enough to cook tomorrow, because I got to get it done tomorrow.
Well, that sounds pretty fitting. I love also stuffing is one of my favorites. There are not many in California, but one of my favorite sort of fast food restaurants in Chicago was Boston Market, and they had great selection of Thanksgiving options, and I'm sort of craving that. The sweet potatoes they had there were amazing.
Sweet potatoes there are really good, and their apples.
Yes, the cinnamon apples, so good.
That and Stover's apples from the farmer's market that we went to.
Oh, yes.
Sugar-free applesauce is so amazing. Anybody who's in Chicago, come to the Evanston Farmers Market, go to Stover's. They are an amazing, amazing place.
And they're now closed, right? So
that's not till next summer.
Not till next summer, okay.
Yeah, although there is sometimes a winter market held in a church or at the ecology center. I haven't checked it out yet because I've been traveling too much and not around to do it, but I do usually go during the winter as well. Wonderful.
Well, there's also so much to be grateful for, including our listeners, but what are some things that you're grateful for this Thanksgiving?
For listeners and for my friends are a very important part of my life. Of course, my husband and my Brisby are both really important to me. You're important to me. My sisters-in-law are important. That is #sisters-in-law. I don't have, I have a sort of ex-sister-in-law. Does that count? I have 2 ex-sisters-in-law, but one's from my first husband, so that doesn't count. And the other has divorced my current brother-in-law, so I don't know if that counts. But I'm definitely grateful for my goddaughter and her children, and her mother, who was my college roommate and still my very dear friend. So we've been friends for about 3 times longer than you have been alive. Brings us to, let's talk about that quiz. What was your age bracket?
Well, I was a boomer. So it's a quiz about the sort of how we conduct ourselves in the workplace. And like Jill said at the beginning, we will introduce that. Well, we will put the link in our show notes. But I got my results show me as the old schooler. 39% of my responses sound like a boomer. And this is the description. Boomers are typically the most formal in their ways of behaving at work. They are more likely to prefer using phones for quick communication and structure their comments as full sentences with proper grammar, capitalization, and punctuation. They might even format their digital messages like letters and get distracted or frustrated by too much tech. Boomers often have a clear respect for the chain of command, assuming critical feedback is a one-way street from people who must know more than them. When it comes to life, work takes a high priority. And then there's a quote by a professor basically about how boomers are very much characterized as live to work, and being successful as a person is tied to your professional identity and what you've accomplished.
So an almost equal number of my answers made me a millennial, not a although I'm actually, I consider myself a boomer, but I think technically I am the silent generation.
Yes.
Of the years, I'm silent generation. Obviously, I've never been silent. I will never be silent. But it says you communicate like a millennial, equipped with boomer-esque hustle, culture, tech skills, and outspoken voice. Parents of millennials were determined. I took a picture of it and it cut off, but we're determined to make kids successful and sometimes pressure them to be so. So millennials often try to manage their personal needs without dropping the ball at work, blurring boundaries. Lauded for their childhood efforts, they can, I guess I was, my parents definitely lauded my childhood efforts. They can struggle with critical feedback. No, I don't, but I also would challenge critical feedback. Anyway, that's where 37%, 20% of mine were boomer, but that's half of what yours were. So yeah. It's really funny.
And that 20% of me was millennial.
Yeah. Yeah. And the rest of me was Gen Z. So I barely had any baby boomer, and they didn't, it's interesting, I don't think they even included the possibility that a person of my actual generation, the silent generation, would take the quiz, because I'm sure they assumed that that generation doesn't use tech. I'm very tech savvy, and I'm, well, not the most tech savvy, but certainly for my age, I'm very tech savvy. Yes. And I am comfortable with how to outwit your computer, as you have to be, otherwise you'd be frustrated all the time because it won't let you do what you want to do. So I thought this was a fun quiz, and I think I'm going to make my friends take it I hadn't thought of that. I'm going to bring with my computer to make people take the quiz at our Thanksgiving turkey. What time are you're going to a friend giving, right?
Yes. Well, if I am able to. If my bodily condition.
Stop this. Okay, so we're recording this to distract Victor from the fact that he is having 4 wisdom teeth extracted in about an hour. And this is the thing that he's going to be distracted by. And so now we're talking about it, which will not distract him. But I know that everyone wants to wish you good luck. You are going to be fine. You won't be so happy tonight, but you know, certainly by Thursday, you'll be fine. So you can always eat stuffing and sweet potatoes. You could have my Jell-O mold if you were in Chicago. You can have ice cream, maybe the pie filling, even if not the crust. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Do not give it up. So enjoy yours. I know I'll enjoy being with my friends, and she's a great cook, and she makes a beautiful table. She always does a fabulous centerpiece. So I'm post. In fact, if she doesn't mind, I will ask her permission to post on our I don't know, show notes pictures of our celebration together, and so that'll be that.
Wonderful. We hope all of you have a great Thanksgiving. And I'm grateful, and I know Jill is too, of all of you for listening. And we will be back next week with regular programming of iGen Politics with an exciting guest. So don't miss that next week, but have a great Thanksgiving. And let us know what you score on this quiz and which generation you align most with. It's surprising for me to come out so much older than I am, but I'm only 15% Gen Z. So according to this quiz in the workplace.
It's
so
amazing. And if any of you wants any of my recipes,
oh yes,
contact us either through my website, or do we have a Politicon account? Do we have some way they can reach us?
we don't have a Politicon account, but you can tweet us at, or
Yeah.
one X and tweet us.
X or thread us,
Right.
and or go to my website and you can contact either Victor or me through that. I mean, you can only contact me, but I can pass it on to Victor. And it's all fun. Have a great holiday. Enjoy hopefully you're not traveling. Hopefully you're at home with friends and family. Enjoy.
Bye, everyone.